already so that we can get you any information you'd like about our congregation. Once again, welcome one and all to worship this morning. There is a lot going on at our congregation as we start our program year together. In happenings in the back of your order of service, you'll see that our Lifespan Faith Development Open House is today after worship. You can head on over to Foz Theater with Reverend Jennifer and learn about some of our learning and growing opportunities for people of all ages this coming year. You'll also see that our Leadership Development and Nominating Committee is offering a program titled Claiming Our Spiritual Leadership, which is a very well-reviewed Unitarian Universalist Association small group program around spiritual growth and community. They will introduce that program right after worship here in Channing Hall so that you can learn more about that and sign up. You will also see that we're kicking off a new round of Our Whole Lives Sexuality Education with a twist. That is often thought of as an adolescent and teen program, and it is, but there's also an adult curriculum that is really popular. Our co-leaders, Judy and Alice, are listed there in happenings. You can email them to learn more and sign up. You'll also see in happenings that Ray Nichols with our Earth Ministry is heading to New York City for the big March to End Fossil Fuels on September 17th. If you'd like to be a part of a UU Princeton contingent, email Ray and he'll set that up. There'll be lots of good people gathered around an important issue that day. And if you're planning on staying local on the 17th, you'll see that you can attend a wonderful fundraiser for our Memorial Garden, 4 p.m. next Sunday, titled Water for the Garden, Music for the Soul. There'll be a program of beautiful music, refreshments to follow, and great company, all contributing toward enhancing our already stunning Memorial Garden. And if you haven't taken a walk through that garden lately, give yourself that gift. It's just beautiful. And we thank all of our garden volunteers for taking such loving care of that sacred space. So much going on as we start our year together. Please keep an eye on your email and our weekly and monthly newsletters and our website for more information on everything that's happening. And now, as many and as one, let us embrace this hour of peace and hope. And let us bring to this space reverence and wonder and gratitude for life and for one another. Come, let us worship together.
You and I and all of us blew about with the winds of summer. Now it is time for gathering in. We come together at this time and in this place on the bridge of autumn. Summer is fading backward into memory and winter waits in snowy brilliance. We have joys and sorrows and hopes to share, questions, things we care about and want to help make better. Today, we are together in gladness, once more the special community that we call our church.
Invite our students forward. Anyone who is returning to school in any fashion this coming year, whether it's pre-K, whether you're homeschooled, whether you may be going to vocational, starting grad school, anyone that is going to be a student this coming year, you are invited forward with your school bag or backpacks. You can bring your imaginary backpack with you if you didn't bring your tactile one with you today, but come on forward. And we're going to give you a special charm. We're going to give you a special charm. And these charms are either for your backpacks or bags or to hang up somewhere where you do your studying. You don't have to worry about putting it on right now. That is okay. I'm going to invite you to hold on to it for a little bit. All right. Welcome all. Yep. And then as you receive your charm, you can come and sit down for just a moment. Awesome. So for those of you that have seen your charms, you just look at it a little bit. What does it have on it? What do you see? Yeah, you see there is a picture of our building of Channing Hall. There's a picture of it. And can someone else say what letters are underneath the picture. UUCP. So it's a reminder of our place here. And there's also two other little letters, little beads on them as well. And it's you. So there are two little letter beads that say you. This charm represents two things. It represents the love of this congregation, and it represents the larger love that holds us and of what we serve. An abiding love that's at the center of our Unitarian Universalist faith. So this charm is a reminder of our love and the abiding love that is always with you. So I want to invite the congregation into joining with me in this blessing of our children, youth, adult students. And the refrain is, love is always with you. Let's say that together. Love is always with you. For those of you who go to school outside your home, on the drive or the walk to school, on the bus, in the hallways, in the lunchrooms, on the playgrounds, in your classrooms, for those of you that complete studies at home, whether taking online courses or in homeschool, wherever your schooling takes you, in mind, body, and spirit, and especially when you are doing your homework, may you know that love is always with you. In your relationships with your parents and your teachers, your professors, mentors, classmates, your friends, when you are speaking and acting together with kindness and integrity, and on the days when that feels impossible, may you sense that love is always with you. When you are rocking the books, loving what you are learning, psyched about your field trips or the music concerts or the art or science show or drama club or your sports games or robotics or chess or anything that expands who you are in the sense of the world, and the times you struggle or fail, because making mistakes are one of the ways that we learn. But that doesn't mean that when they happen, it isn't really, really hard. So in the awesome and in the awful, may you remember that love is always with you. And we, this congregation, are always with you, loving you, cheering you on, thinking of you and your successes, and here for comfort when things feel difficult. We infuse these charms with our blessing so that when you do look at them, you can think of us and think of the faith that connects us and sustains us. And that love is always with you. And may each of us feel held and cared for in that same love. Here's to another year of that caring and connecting and growing together. Amen. And blessed be.
At some point around 15 years ago, I was visiting my sister in Minnesota, and she very casually handed me what first looked like a business card. She said, "Here, you might want to check this out." And that's it, nothing more. I took the card, gave it a quick read, was intrigued, but then I just put it into my bag and I forgot about it. Sometime later, back in New Jersey, I was browsing through my local newspaper and an ad caught my eye. The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Princeton. Oh yeah, what's that all about? I thought. I retrieved the card that I had gotten from my sister, and I thought, well, if Janice says it's worth checking out, maybe I will. I still remember pulling up to this church on my very first Sunday, alone, a little nervous, wary, but curious, when I spotted what appeared to be a wizard walking toward the front door. A man with a long white beard and a colorful robe-like coat, holding a large staff that kind of knotted together at the top. I remember thinking, this is already worth it. Of that visit, I recall being warmly greeted before finding a place way in the back, way back there. I remember how the opening meditation was spoken so calmly and directed so perfectly that I felt an unexpected release of tension in my body, my mind, and in my life. That was my first encounter with Unitarian Universalism and my beginning here at UUCP. I wonder how you first heard about UU. What chain of events brought you to visit this congregation for the first time? Did you come alone, with a friend, or your family? Do you remember your first impression? What brought you back a second time? And what brings you back today? Reverend Bill once said to me that UUs don't like to proselytize. I agree. However, I'm proving to be a bit of an exception to the rule. Last year, I organized a UU booth at the Hopewell Harvest Fair to raise local awareness of our congregation. And also, when the opportunity arises among my friends, I'm often guilty of slipping UU into our conversations. I think one reason UUs don't really like to proselytize is because, well, have you ever tried to explain UU to someone? It's really hard. It's not like church, but it kind of is. People have different beliefs. There are atheists and scientists there too. It's about reason and this thing called humanism I'll explain more about later, and spirituality, and there's wisdom from different sources. It's complicated. I returned to this congregation because I believe that society, now more than ever, needs less cynicism and more hope, less isolation and more community, less division and more vision. I believe the world needs more individuals coming together regularly to cultivate unconditional love, tolerance, and hope in their hearts, to nurture a shared vision of peace and justice, and to support and serve each other in the world. I believe this faith has the power and the potential to change people's lives and the world for the better. It's no small accomplishment that I have persuaded some of my most church allergic friends to volunteer at the last 2 spring sales and to attend our trunk or treat. Years ago, my awkward UU description did manage to intrigue one of my friends. She was intrigued enough that she decided to check out her local UU in Dallas, Texas. And fast forward to today, and she now sits on their board of trustees. You never know. I wonder how you all articulate to your friends and family what this place is and what it means to you. This year, you'll see me up here as a worship associate and downstairs leading the RE classes each month, one RE class. I will co-chair the spring sale again. I've added the promotions committee to my list, which aims to raise the visibility of our church services and events. Our new Bring a Friend initiative will encourage all of you to invite guests, friends, families, neighbors to services and events when the time feels right. The committee is also working with Reverend Bill to present a UU elevator speech workshop later this year, where you can figure out how to speak more comfortably and confidently about UU and our congregation. Please see Meg Cox after the service if you're interested in getting some more of our Bring a Friend materials. I hope some of you got them in your order of service, with your order of service today. And you can sign up to be notified about this elevator speech workshop, which I'm sure will be fun and interesting. I've also joined the celebrations committee, which is working hard to coordinate our annual events that I promise will be fun for all of you to enjoy. And they will also be perfect opportunities for you to invite your guests. Please mark your calendars for the harvest dinner on October 6th and the trunk or treat and tacos, big selling point there, on October 29th. Finally, participation is what keeps this church alive, and it is what will make it flourish. So on November 5th, after the service, please visit the Sharing Our Gifts event in the lobby, where you can explore the many different ways that you can participate in our community. Maybe you have a special talent, skill, or hobby that might be put to good use here. Do you make jewelry or play an instrument? Perhaps you have a green thumb or you know how to face paint. Volunteers are always needed everywhere. Do you have friends who like to volunteer? We can fold all of your gifts into making our community better than ever. Thank you all for coming back and beginning again here with me, for sharing your gifts and your time and your love.
When I was a kid growing up in Southern Virginia, you could count on the rain coming in most summer nights. The days were hot and muggy, and the heat built up over the afternoon and early evening. And somewhere usually between 5:30 and 6:30, there would almost always be a rainstorm, often a pretty heavy one. The sky would go from clear to dark, the air would get very, very heavy, and there would be a downpour that would last all of 20 minutes or so. And then it would end and the air would be fresh and clean and light. The heavy heat of the day would have been washed away. The air was cooler. That was often thought of as the best time to go outside, after the summer rainstorm. But as kids, we knew that the best time to go outside was during that summer rainstorm. We'd be outside playing anyway, and we'd see that storm coming in. And as long as there was no thunder or lightning, those of us who were allowed to do so stayed right outside in the rain. We rode our bikes through it, played kickball in it, jumped in the puddles it created, and built dams to divert the suddenly rapidly flowing water in the gutters. It made the earth muddy, which we used to make ourselves muddy, often emerging from a rainstorm dirtier than we had been before it started. We made the most of the rain, had fun with it, played in it, and looked forward to it. These days, I'm more apt to wait out the rainstorm. If I'm in a store and it starts pouring, maybe I shop a little more slowly. Maybe when I'm done, I join the many waiting under the awning for the rain to let up a bit before rushing to my car. If I'm in my car waiting to go in, maybe I listen to another song or two before getting out and going wherever I'm going. Whereas I used to look to join the rain as a kid, now I mostly try to miss it, even though it's the same rain, the same joy, the same wonder, and same sense of play. The rain is the same, but I'm not. We lose something like this as the days add on to each other. The world that was marvelous and new, that we sank into and felt with our hands and smelled and looked upon with curiosity and play, becomes something that we instead just move through. We miss the fresh air, though it is still there. The sky at sunset goes unnoticed or is at most glanced at to capture in our photos. We screen ourselves off from earth, sky, water, disconnecting ourselves from what had once been among our greatest joys, to be outside with others, making worlds in this one world that we share. In this, we lose perspective and wonder. We see ourselves as separate from nature, as beings with dominion over it, as bodies divorced from the same forces that cause the earth and sky and water to animate us into life to begin with. We try to control more and more, pausing less and less, playing never, rushing through the world and our few and precious days, confusing a quickened pace for purpose. There's no better way to miss beauty than to rush through it. We can miss anything when we rush through it: passion, laughter, wisdom, memory. To linger is the way to bring these gifts into our bodies and minds. To pause before them is to allow them to fill our hearts. To walk in the rain instead of waiting it out is to know its blessing and beauty and to know that we are one with it. To pause is to notice it, which opens up doors of everyday gratitude. Langston Hughes speaks to this in his poem, "In time of silver rain, the earth puts forth new life again. Green grasses grow and flowers lift their heads, and over all the plain the wonder spreads of life, of life, of life. In time of silver rain, the butterflies lift silken wings to catch a rainbow cry, and trees put forth new leaves to sing in joy beneath the sky, as down the roadway, passing children go singing too. In time of silver rain, when spring and life are new. Hughes writes of spring here, but this is all rain. Spring, September, all rain that falls nourishes. All waters quench the earth's thirst and ours. All that brings forth youth singing, and if those of us north of our youth would only surrender to it, can make us sing anew as well. For we thirst for that song, even if we don't know it. That's why even in the most harried of days, a bird song can still catch us. A sunset can still make us pause. Thunder can still shake us with awe, and lightning can make us stop whatever we're doing and watch and wait for it to strike again. And it can bring simple joy and simple sweetness, the kind we need, but cannot purchase, or for which we need not study or compete. Wendell Berry teaches us this in his poem Water, which reads, I was born in a drought year. That summer, my mother waited in the house, enclosed in the sun and the dry, ceaseless wind, for the men to come back in the evenings, bringing water from a distant spring. Veins of leaves ran dry, roots shrank. And all my life, I have dreaded the return of that year, sure that it is still somewhere, like a dead enemy's soul. Fear of dust in my mouth is always with me, and I am the faithful husband of the rain. I love the water of wells and springs and the taste of roofs in the water of cisterns. I am a dry man whose thirst is praise of clouds and whose mind is something of a cup. My sweetness is to wake in the night after days of dry heat, hearing that rain. The thirst taught Barry the blessing of the rain, and once taught, he takes it with him through his days and nights, looking forward to its return. And so too can we embrace its blessings and close the distance that we have receded into in our busy lives of doing, worrying, achieving. We can look for the rain not as something to move through, but as something to marvel at, to feel, to watch, to smell, to know it as sacred and earthly as is all water, as is all nature, as is each person. We can learn anew that the world is not something to be endured, it's to be enjoyed. And the path there is to pause, to play, to create, and to get messy. The path there is that of a young one who does this by instinct until we unlearn it. The path there is to become childlike again and to not wait out the rain, rather walk in it, to know that we'll dry, but be more alive in wonder and joy and connection. Our bodies will be blessed, our spirits more at ease, for nature heals the alienation and loneliness and lack of purpose that we all feel sometimes. It's then that we need to go outside in whatever season, in fair weather and foul, and feel alive again as part of this wondrous creation that affords us life and love and one another. That is nothing to rush through. It is to be savored and praised with hands muddy and hair wet, and enjoyed and played in. For what must be done will still be there after the rain, and we'll do it, but with more balance and health and perspective. Enjoy the rain, friends, and the sun, and the snow, and the earth, and all beings on it. Enjoy the flowers and fields, the mountains and the beaches. Enjoy the ocean and the wind that roars across it, and even the sands that sting your skin. Enjoy every image, every ounce, every experience of this incredible sacred gift. And when things seem a little off in your days, in whatever way, go outside and pause. Feel the sun, the rain, the earth, the holy. Pause before the miracle that any of this even is, and know that your home is here. And it is also here at UU Princeton as we turn to our celebration of water communion. For that, our seminarian, Pauline Nijander, will lead us.
Blessed Earth Mother, we thank you for this gift of water that we have before us. It is because of you that we are able to have this precious gift of life-giving sustenance, a precious gift that makes up and is found in all life on this beautiful world. We ask that you bless this precious gift of water given so freely by our guests, friends, and family, and as a community. Water that is different and comes from many different places, yet is still amazingly the same. May these blessings you give continue throughout the year in the rituals that we do with this water as a community, to mark the occasions and the celebrations of life, death, and every event in between that we hold as sacred. We thank you and ask you to continue to bless us all with the gift of good, clean water. And may we learn the much needed lessons in order to be good stewards of this precious gift, so that we may be able to continue to receive this life-giving gift this day and every day. Blessed be, and amen.
And here at the end of our hour, we extinguish our chalice, knowing that its light carries us until we gather again. Go forth grateful for the moments before you, the breath within you, the people among you, and the Spirit guiding you toward lives of love and kindness. And go forth knowing that you are held always and always with everyone else by that great love of no beginning and never ending. Go in peace, and amen.